In this episode, we are talking about Coco, plus all the latest film news and film things. What are you doing?
You did do
Good
hello.
God.
Welcome
You
to
just ruined my
Tripod
intro.
Talk.
You know what? Roll credit. Welcome back to another episode of Tripod Talk, where we talk anything and everything about films. My name's Matt Lidster, I'm your host, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Miss Sophie Ellis and Mr. Adil Anwar. How are you guys doing?
A bit devastated. You called us sexy last week, I'm pretty sure. Now we're just wonderful.
Well, considering you were messing around with my audio just a second ago, screaming down my ear.
I really wanted to do it again then.
Well,
Yeah.
please don't.
I didn't do it. I think I deserved. I could have still been sexy. I didn't do anything to deserve that demotion. But nah, it's fine. I'll go down with the team.
You're just
We're both
fine.
not sexy.
Alright, cool.
Just a 4. You're a 4 out of 10.
That's
We'll
fine.
be-
That's all I've ever wanted.
We'll be not sexy together, so it's alright.
Alright, you know what?
More pictures, the home of not sexy.
Shall we jump straight into the film news, or do you want to keep talking about sexy time?
I already
Film
know what the
news,
words.
please.
are,
Okay,
yeah.
film news. Straight into film news, please.
All right, so I'll start off with just a couple of smaller ones that are kind of out there. So first off, about the Tom Hardy Venom film that's been in production for about 33 years.
Oh yeah.
Apparently Woody Harrelson, and I've stole a bit of Soap's news.
Damn it.
Woody
Oh,
Harrelson
dear.
has been cast as a serial killer called Carnage.
Oh,
Woodall Harrison.
Oh, that's
He's great.
very
And it's
interesting.
interesting as well because his dad was a serial killer. He did Natural Born Killers when he was younger. So Woody
yeah.
Harrelson's got a whole serial killer thing going on.
Wow, yeah, no, I'm interested.
Wouldn't
for
be,
that.
yeah, so that'd be good. Kind of casting's it up, and they thought that part was going to be Riz Ahmed, who was the guy from Four Lions and everything, who's got quite a bit in America.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
he's got a bespoke part, like a new character for the film. So so that kind of may be good when it eventually comes out.
Yeah.
If Tom Hardy can still he's not too arthritic by the point that he can't do any stunts when they actually make it.
Oh yeah, no, that's just made me very excited for that, because I was wondering if Carnage was going to be in the film. It's one of my favourite villains, and that is going to be, yeah.
Do you think Woody Harrelson suits the casting work?
Yeah, I think he could. I think he could pull it off. Yeah.
He's always good, so I'm on board with that. Also, another tiny bit of news. John Boyega said Ray and Finn are going to reunite. Have I got the next two? See,
Right.
these are my boring stories, to be fair. Just getting
That's
rid of
just
them
my.
apart.
That's all the news for me. That makes me more excited.
Have I literally taken both your
Yeah,
stories?
no, it's okay, go on.
All right, it's fine. I
So-
am the film news hall for this week.
What, they reunite in episode 9?
Yep, which is coming
Yes.
out December 2019, they say. So
Oh.
they haven't got anything official, a script or anything. It's just Ray texted him to say it. So, I think people still like the fact that they kind of, when casts become close and stuff, the whole thing with
Yeah.
it and in like that kind of lot. So that's nice to see that they're still hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Helen Mirren has said she wants stunt performers to be eligible for Oscars, which is
Have you just
interesting.
stole another one?
Have you actually found this one? Because
I saw that.
I literally opened Twitter less than a minute
Twitter.
ago.
Yeah, I saw it on
and
Twitter.
saw it on Twitter.
Through the What Pictures account.
Don't think so. No, through my account.
Oh, nice.
Probably
plug.
some iPhone.
Follow us
and
on
what
Twitter.
Pictures. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Pictures have a Twitter. I reckon you won't have this one as well. So this is my last one I'll try
I
for
hope
now.
not.
This is about twin films.
No.
Have you actually? Oh, thank
Oh,
Christ!
there we
I finally
go.
got something she didn't. So it's about. Do you remember Legend of Hercules came out with, and then that was about 6 months
Yeah.
before the Rock one.
Yeah.
There's a film coming out called The Mercy with Colin Firth about an amateur British sailor, and there's
Failure.
Yep. And there's another one. There's a film about that exact same guy that came out at the same time. So the advert just kind of talks about what are we laughing at?
I don't know. I'm not laughing.
Oh, it's alright. We're ignoring it.
I'm really listening.
We're
about this
mature. We're
failure.
mature adults here talking about sailors.
It's still the Woodall.
Oh, yeah, okay. I try to push past it, but it's fine.
I just realised, anyone listening to us, this is the most sarcastic news that you could ever. So if you're a fan of sarcastic stuff, because we always call each other out on anything that we do wrong.
Any tiny misspell, even if we don't even say it wrong, we'll
You
just
breathed
presume they
wrong.
did.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
have something to say.
So I'm sorry
Yeah,
if you
sorry.
don't like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, anyway, go on about sailors.
So it's saying sometimes when those films come out at the same time, because it seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? That sometimes it's just kind of one studio hears about it, the other one tries to nip it ahead and get
Yeah.
first of the punch. Sometimes it's just kind of coincidence, like with the Dunkirk film, Darkest Hour in Dunkirk.
Oh yeah.
Nothing
yeah.
had happened for a while, and then kind of for some reason that kind of happened. So this kind of article goes on to go through a few of those, and I thought I could do like a quick little round thing where basically you two try and guess which one grossed more of the two of them.
Oh, okay. Quick fire round.
Yeah, Matt's doing his jingles.
And he's
Yeah.
also doing a weird thing.
I'm
with
doing a
his
weird
hands.
hand movement. Okay, let's go.
All right, so Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down.
I always thought
Olympus.
they were the same things.
Two different films, both about.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Gerard Butler's in.
Yeah,
Olympus.
Peace Olympus Has Fallen. The other one's Channing Tatum.
I reckon that. Oh, wait.
Olympus.
All right,
I'm going to go with the other one.
All right, so Matt wins this one. Other one
Have
has
you seen any of
146
No.
mil. White House Down. Olympus has got 120. No strings attached and Friends with Benefits.
I always remember
Friends with
this one as well. Friends with. Wait, what was the other one?
No
It's
strings attached.
No strings. No, Friends with Benefits.
This is. I didn't read this until right now. This is a miraculous. Like I've kind of just screwed you both over. They both earned the same amount, 106 million.
Oh.
So didn't mean to do that, but there you go.
Thanks.
I'm skipping a couple. All right, going back a bit. These are two films I haven't seen, so this might not play at all. But Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
you say-
Armageddon.
Yeah,
Oh,
Armageddon
yeah,
and
you said that.
about 400 mil. Deep Impact about 250. That's about kind of all the interesting ones in there. But it's just like it is a weird thing, isn't it? Because it seems to happen a lot that films come out at the same time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always presumed it'd be a, like one of them had the idea, the other one kind of ripped it off and tried to get to the market at the same time. But
Yeah.
no, you can't really kind of predict that kind of thing, do you? Can you?
No, it's
I don't know where I was going with that. I was reading while I was talking and I didn't have any focus on my sentence.
no. That's always something that bothered me. Where like two films come out where it's like exactly the same plot, and you're just like, what is the point? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
It just becomes like a term of like, that's where it's like which cast do you prefer type thing.
Hmm.
If anybody knows about the director as well. Soph, do you have any more? Go for it. I reckon I was
She's
about to do the
composing
one.
herself.
I reckon I was about to do the one that she's.
Just having a moment. I
Okay.
don't know why I'm in such a kiddie mood. Just him. Do you, can you?
I don't even.
I don't even know
I
what's
don't
going
even
on.
know what's
can't-
going on. She's mentally ill.
I can't pronounce his name. John. Oh, no.
Oh no.
John
Boyega.
Boyega.
Yeah, he
It's in
literally just said it
talks.
before.
Oh, he's
I
doing
know,
something
but I
else.
can't.
Okay, he's doing something else.
Is in talks to star in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ooh.
Best known as his role Finn from Star Wars, obviously. But it doesn't say what he's in talks of doing, but it could be interesting to...
How many
I don't
black
know.
characters are there really? Is there that many? Would it be hard to guess who he'd be playing?
Oh, yeah, off the top of my head, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Film critics debate if Netflix originals should be considered as real movies.
Oh, I remember you brought this up the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should do.
Because someone... Was it Spielberg? He said that he considers them more of TV movies rather than movies themselves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it
that's
was Spielberg.
more just him being behind the times to a certain degree.
Yeah, though I think the traditional way a film can be nominated for the Oscars is that it has to be running in a cinema for a certain amount of time, and it has to I don't think it has to technically earn anything.
No, yeah, I think it has to run.
And then I think it has to go through some film festival as well to then kind of get produced. I'm not sure, but like on Netflix, because it's like an original straight to streamable service.
Yeah.
Then it technically shouldn't. But maybe they should update it. You know,
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it's a completely different world to what it was back then. So yeah, maybe they should update it.
And TV's done a good job of just taking it in the stride. Like streaming-only TV series have kind of just jumped into the awards, Emmys, and all that kind of stuff quite seamlessly. Haven't heard much uproar about that, so it might just be a film that people can be a bit kind of pretentious and uppity about films and cinema and stuff, can't they?
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
could
it's-
just be a
It's like
situation
the
like
last grasp of like the Academy Awards and that whole old school sort of
Attitude,
let's not actually moving forward with the times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'd be interesting if that develops anything further. Anyway.
And the last little bit, it's not really news. Russo brothers? That's how you say it.
Yeah.
They say that we should be scared of the mystery title for Avengers 4.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
They also posted a letter on Twitter, #Thanos demands your silence.
Sorry,
It's
go on.
basically a letter saying to keep spoilers to yourself. It'll be out in certain places before others. And people
Okay.
have screenings because there's people that have taken a couple of the trailers, put it down and put it in order, and they're pretty much like telling a story from that. So then they've just signed it, and it's got a picture of the glove and stuff. With the hashtag.
Yeah, I think the title of the next film is like a spoiler for like the third film coming out, so it's probably going to be like
Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've got one more piece of news actually.
Cool.
Okay.
Am I okay too?
Can you hear us both?
Shall we let her say it?
Should we let us say it? Yeah, we can do.
Wait, maybe.
Peter Andre will play a heroin addict in a new short film role.
Oh no.
With a quote, "I've got the acting bug."
Oh no.
He's sporting a very different look while filming scenes for a short film. Project will see him get into a character by grunging up his look, lip ring included. And yes, to say he looks a lot different to Mysterious Girl era.
Oh.
So, I mean, we should definitely go and watch that.
Yep, that's what the people want to hear about. Peter Andre's cinema debut. Oh god.
Have you got a picture of that, or is it just
No.
okay. Yeah.
Disappointing.
Sorry.
Maybe you should just I don't know. He might be good. Never know.
I mean, I think if he really was good, he would have done it before now. Like, it would have been something he wanted to do, and he would have used his profile to have done it earlier.
Well, he's been, after his singing career, he stepped up to do a makeover thing, Peter Andre's makeover, and he used to do people's houses. Because my mum used to watch it.
Wait, with what expert knowledge?
None. But like he would go in and say, "Oh, I think that looked good there," and get all the decorators in. And
Who think? Okay, I don't
Do you know what
understand
he
how this
used to-
came about.
every time he finished a house, he used to sign something in the house. How obnoxious is that? Like sign the size.
just devalued
of, like,
it.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't leave like a signed picture of himself.
Yeah. There's like a life-size cutout in every room.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Gross.
I'll
Wow.
save that for
All right.
the next podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's that. Is that the film news?
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the film?
Oh yeah, God, I forgot we're
Yeah.
doing that.
So
All right.
excited about this.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited about everything at the moment. Waddle.
I don't. All right, this is not going to be a t-shirt.
Whittle. I'd like a whittle something.
Oh,
Oh God.
God.
End it there.
end it all. That's it.
Cancel the
Suicide
podcast.
pact.
Okay, so Coco. Oh,
I know. I knew that would happen. Sorry, I tried to make us sour drink.
Right in the middle. Cancel the podcast. Suicide pact. I was like, what?
I didn't hear that, but oh dear,
Okay.
we can't do that.
No, we can't.
No.
It's fine. I've already got too many ongoing.
Tell you what, no, that's not. I was going to say that's a really good segue to something, but it's not, and we're not even talking about it. So
Don't.
it's fine.
Yeah. Don't.
I'm not going to tell you what the segue was. Anyway, we forgot to do segues. Anyway,
I'm waiting
Coco.
for a good one.
Coco. Can we talk about Coco?
If you want to talk about Coco.
Yeah, new film by Pixar / Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the people.
that's the people.
They're the ones who do the animated ones.
They do the good animated ones. Yeah, does anybody want to give a short summary before we start talking about Coco? Coco.
Sure.
Go for it.
So, Coco is a Pixar fantasy mystery animation. Despite his family's generation-old band of music, young Miguel dreams of becoming an accomplished musician like his idol Ernesto de la Cruz. Cut that bit out. I wrote it wrong. Basically.
Do you want me to say it? 'Cause I
Let's
got one
wing it.
written out.
So far, it's the same. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, you read it.
Okay,
Cut that.
I guess I'll give the
All right, go for it, Matt.
summary here.
It's going to sound like you just be like, anyone want to read it? Then suddenly you start talking.
Sorry, I can change it. Around. The story follows. Oh my god, I got
The story folds. All right, we're all.
The story follows a 12-year-old boy named Miguel Rivera, who is accidentally transported to the land of the dead, where he seeks the help of his deceased musician great-great-grandfather to return him to his family among the living.
I like that. Decent summary.
Thanks.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what did everyone think of the film?
I remember before I went in, I didn't read much about it, but I saw it was getting super high critical reception, and I'm usually I'm quite open-minded, I think. So I really, really kind of liked it. Probably one of the films I've watched recently that I most enjoyed throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to like it either.
Oh, no, I did. Yeah.
So we decided to go early on a Sunday morning, didn't we?
Early on.
I knew you were going to do that. I thought that I'd like it a lot more. It felt like it was dragging a little bit. But I can see it got voted the most beautiful movie of 2017. and obviously won the animated film at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after the first 20 minutes, I can definitely see why. We all got a little bit emotional, didn't we?
The last 5 minutes, we were all dripping tears a
I know.
little bit. Sorry, guys.
Dripping.
sorry, guys.
dripping.
I don't know. What's the word?
I've
Crying?
filled up a little bit.
Yeah, teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had. It was a really
So
good. That song.
dripping.
We were in a cinema full of children, behave.
Hey, I meant like out of your eyes. That's
Oh,
not
I
helping.
was
That's
a
not
mess.
helping. I thought the story was really good. I loved this film. I thought it looked absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love the story. I love seeing a brand new culture, being brought to life. Huh? Pun intended.
Nice.
Ah.
He's been sitting on that for a week.
I
100%.
literally just made that up right then.
Yeah.
This one's going in his biography.
Yeah, no, I really liked it.
Yeah.
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 Definitely one of my favourite films of the year so far. I know it says it comes out in 2017, but
Counting it as an 18.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm counting it from this year because I've seen it this year.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite films so far that we've reviewed recently.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much visually to go back to as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just to see in there.
What did I bring up? It's the depth of field that they've got now with animation, where it can make something in the foreground more blurry than it does in the background. It swaps over like a normal camera would do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what really
Yeah,
intrigues me.
it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that kind of completeness now.
Well, with that, we were watching. I replayed the music video, and you saw as close to Miguel, and he had like bum fluff on his chin.
Oh,
didn't he?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
just the light hairs and the detail in that was just amazing.
Yeah, that really took me away.
Yeah.
As well as just the actual landscape shots that they got, like the way they introduced the world with like the bridges going into like the big open world of the dead, all the different locations that they use within that just kind of look really authentic as well.
Yeah,
like,
and it wasn't just like piling information. It wasn't just trying to like boxes. It was very structured and textured, and it went back in kind of a realistic way, the way it integrated everything. Like it wasn't just art like on the walls and stuff. It would be the whole kind of world that they set up had that same kind of vibrant colours contrasting with all the death stuff that goes on in that kind of Day of the Dead culture. That's really kind of unique to that thing.
What did you think of the the actual concept of it then? Like the people actually live in another world of the dead.
See, I enjoyed that. I was the same as Dill. I didn't want to look into it too much. I knew it was something to do with another land or people dying.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to go into an animated film and it made me think more about death. But it was a really interesting concept. It would be really nice to think of it
Was.
as an actual belief.
Yeah.
And there's more stuff later on that does link this theory to another Pixar film that I'll talk about later on.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's a really good concept.
One thing I've read about since is that apparently when they first pitched the idea, it was going to be about an American child learning about his Mexican heritage when he's dealing with the death of his mum, who I presume was Mexican. But then obviously they changed it and they realised that it'd have to be a Mexican child as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's really kind of... I'm glad that they did that, just to give you a true, like... It wasn't just the Mexican thing was like a conduit to the story or anything like that, or just the Day of the Dead was the plot point. It was very much like... The whole film was about exploring that culture and that way of thinking and that kind of lifestyle. And I think that was a lot kind of what let you get ready drawn into the film and what kept you dragged into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you actually think of the characters themselves? I know we like most of these kind of films usually have like stereotypical characters that they kind of fill in roles and stuff, but I felt they weren't stereotypes specifically.
No, I
Like
wouldn't
they
have thought
just like most characters kind of filled their role in, but anyone that had that sort of role that could be seen stereotypical wasn't actively involved in the plot. You know, like the mum and the dad, and like you were kind of bringing him into the line of the work, and then just like the people actually following him. You know, his dead ancestors and stuff. Because more of the character work I thought focused on Miguel, Hector, and Ernesto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have said so. I think the only
Sorry.
the only character that really seemed a bit stereotypical from other films was the dog, because you see that dog all the time.
Yeah.
Or through a dopey sidekick animal. I think,
Yeah.
even though I love the dog, but I think that's the only thing that didn't change through this film.
I think they're gonna like. It was like a good job as well of like they're all those main characters are all kind of like, you know, they're not always in the right or wrong. They're kind of morally, ethically ambiguous. So
Yeah.
it does, by having them like that as well, I think the kind of messages that this film was trying to put across, not like actively, but just kind of, well, actively, I guess, but just like those kind of lessons they're trying to put towards kids and to people, those like hit harder because it's not just like a bad guy and the kid's the little hero. Like the kid's argues with his family and Miguel's kind of like not always behaving in a fair way towards the what's he called again? That was about to be a massive spoiler.
Hector.
Yeah, Hector was what I was going to say.
Also, just before we go into anything else, just massive spoilers, just in case you've not seen this film.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this film,
We'll let you
don't
know when
know.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be a spoiler.
go and watch it. I don't know why you're listening to this, but yeah. Sorry, carry on, Dill.
No, that's what I was just gonna say. I like the fact that they like in everything now. They didn't have to do loads of character development because it wasn't about that for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a character film. It was like a culture film almost. Like just
Yeah.
get into that world and experience that kind of way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I wasn't asking for too much from the characters, but they had enough of a dimension to them to not be annoying.
That's pretty much exactly what I thought.
Mhm.
If everyone played their part, that was it. Really, there's not really much else to say.
Yeah, the characters
about
weren't
it.
the
Well, the last
hero.
thing I'd say on the characters is something you picked up on, of how amazing it is that it's called Coco, but Coco isn't the central character as such.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Coco's the central character for...
And I never thought throughout
one
the
of the
film, when's
others.
Coco coming back into this?
Yeah.
Never occurred to me. It
Yeah.
really should have done. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a bit confused at myself, but I never was like, well, Coco's going to have to come back, right?
Yeah, because I feel like most people going into it would assume that the little boy is Coco, so it was a
Yeah.
nice sort of, almost like a twist.
Do you
thing.
kind of want to talk about the twist and how it kind of goes into that? Because you kind of touch on it a little bit. So, in this film, obviously, if you've seen it, if you've not, go and watch it. Yeah, because we're going into massive spoilers now. Yeah, as Soph said before, I was really taken aback of how the name of the film is about a character that's barely even in it, but is technically the whole main point of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only until you kind of learn who the real characters are that you understand why it's called Coco.
Mm-hmm.
So, going into this, the Miguel thinks Ernesto de la Cruz is his great-grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they kind of have a nice time bonding and stuff, and then it's revealed that Hector, the one who's helped him to actually get to Ernesto,
Kind of down on your luck.
he's
About to be forgotten.
as well, which is a whole other lovely aspect to it, which I know you don't talk about death, but
Gets
yeah.
very real.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it turns out Hector all along has been his great-great-grandfather, and Ernesto is just a fraud who stole all his songs and murdered him. Which, to be honest, is even though it's for the plot, if you were a murderer, you would not make a film about the murder. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean within the film
Yeah.
you made?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But then I suppose the guy's dead, and
Well,
no evidence.
yeah,
How else
you
would you
know.
possibly get caught?
Yeah,
I-
because it was jokes that he died by choking on Teresa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was,
First on-screen Pixar death as well, isn't it? Is when they show Ernesto get crushed by a bell.
yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
they only
yeah.
did that as well because, like, maybe they felt like people needed the satisfaction at that point.
Yeah.
Like, people had like they wanted their audience to turn against him so much that they felt like it wasn't. Because no one's complaining about that.
No.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
not
no.
seen any.
I mean, they did it
media
twice.
stuff.
so-
And you'd think there's enough
Yeah.
like ultra, parents out there that are just looking to get some kind of attention, but
Yeah.
because it's so effective within the film, it's just not even noticeable,
Hmm.
which I think is cool.
Yeah.
It didn't. I don't think any of us caught that, right? The twist.
No, I didn't catch that twist at all, and it was
No.
lovely to kind of be a part of it as well, because you're like, oh, because it's such like a heartwarming moment as well, and then you realise, like, because obviously he's about to be forgotten, the only person who remembers him is Coco, which is the great grandmother of Miguel, so
I think the main thing about the twist is because we didn't see it coming. The only other Pixar film that I found that with was Toy Story 3. When the bear turned out to be the bad guy.
oh yeah.
And that's
Separate
the only...
spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
It's been 8 years, move on.
That's the only Pixar film that I can think where they've really pulled off
Mm-hmm.
like a plot twist like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'd say Frozen for me. I didn't see that
With the bad guy.
backstabbing guy
Yeah,
coming
I
in.
didn't see that coming either.
Was that Pixar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
At Disney Pixar.
as
It's
hell.
the same thing. They bought them back in 2006.
Yeah, I
so,
suppose. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Do you know how
But even
much
so,
for?
they're not known for twist endings, or twists of surprises. But to this one, it wasn't so much about the twist; it was about the fact that, like, you know, we all felt good that Hector was actually his dad. Like that he'd been set up as, like, you know, he was a real character in that he wasn't flawless. He made mistakes, but he tried his best, and he was a good guy. But he'd kind of like built up a shell which you understood because of the situation he was in with being forgotten. So it just felt a lot more appropriate for him to be the father to Miguel than this just larger than life massive media icon dude like Ernesto de la Cruz. So I think it was like, it wasn't so much about the twist for me, but it was about that it fit with what I wanted as an audience member from the film.
Yeah, because we touch upon that when he's singing for his friend, you know, when he's laying the hammock.
Yeah.
And he starts playing the guitar and he's like, sing that song for me, and then...
Mm.
So it touches upon that, and then once the man skeleton hears the song, he disappears because he's finally been forgotten.
Yeah, which is called the final death, which is when anyone who isn't living anymore, because in order to be in the land of the dead, you have to be remembered by someone who's living, and the only way that you can cross over the border to kind of see people in the alive world, the normal world, you have to have a picture up of yourself. So so this guy's finally forgotten, then he goes on to another death, which
is related to Inside Out. Have you ever seen Inside Out?
No.
There is a character...
No, we can't spoil it.
I know, but
Inside Out is an amazing film.
It is an amazing film, but I have to just because it's linked.
No, spoil it, it's fine. I'll forget.
It's one of the most hard... It'll
is
crush you,
devastating.
yeah.
Should I take my headset off and put my hands on my head?
The main girl that it's centered around has an imaginary friend,
Get that.
and her little people in her head are out wandering the outskirts of her brain, and they come across this imaginary friend who's been forgotten.
It's
and
funny
in the
because,
end,
like, out of context, that sounds so mental.
Yeah.
No, I can totally
She should
see,
be in a
I
hospital.
could totally see how this in the Pixar world. Yeah,
but
go
there
on.
is a song that's related to this character, and he tries to help out the other mini characters to get back in the head, but then he slowly gets forgotten, and he disappears in the exact same way.
Oh,
So
really?
he's a memory that's being forgotten by this child, and then he disappears exactly like these characters do when they're dead. So
Yeah.
it was nice how that was interlinked.
Yeah. I was going to say, like,
Well,
just...
not nice. I mean,
it
sort
was
of
Oh,
hot,
yeah.
so- yes.
halfway
Heartbreaking.
through a Kleenex.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
All right, we're not doing this.
Not like that. Good
Yeah.
God, bing bong.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's the great thing about these kind of really well-made Disney films. Like, because it's a kid's film, they can't get too complicated with the plot. So
Yeah.
just thinking about it now, if you think what happened, it's very Route 1, like, he goes there, he meets this guy, he doesn't think the guy who he thinks he is, starts off with it not really liking the guy that much, but then the guy shows an emotional, tender moment, and he starts to like him, and they start to bond. Like, these are all pretty classic routes to go down in the film. And then you'd have the twist that guy's related to him, or whatever. But because you're so engrossed in the film, and because it's done in such a kind of imaginative way, the new ways in which they get the bond grows, you don't see it coming. Whereas if it was a lesser film, I feel like we would have been immediately like, Hector's his real dad. Hector's the real dad. Like, as soon as he came on, we would have been like, okay, this is too forced. But because it's that's just another indicator of, like, what is a well-made film to me. And you can't really put your finger on it, but it's just, it flows in, like, a kind of unique way, and it doesn't take you out of it at any point.
Oh yeah, no, and for that, I mean, that kind of goes along with, like, the way that it's framed, and, you know, like, all the technical aspects of it. Like, that's I think that's the reason why I kind of have, like, an extra level of love for animation films, in a sense of they have to specifically storyboard these things out, you know, in order to render it. It's not like they can choose a variation of different shots and just kind of go with the best one. So, like, so much time and care is put into, like, the way this shot's done and that shot's done, the way that the emotions come together, and the way that it's edited to kind of keep the story going and not drag on too much.
Yeah,
I thought it nailed every single aspect of this, even down to the music.
Oh,
Like,
the
I'm not
music.
usually a big fan of, like, musical scores, like, where it's like a specific song and stuff, like, because I'm not a big fan of musicals. But this, like, I've been singing the songs,
Yeah, you
and
are.
I never sing the songs, so
Yeah, there's one specific song that got us all, wasn't it?
yeah.
Remember Me.
remember. Which did that win best song as
Yeah,
well?
it did.
So this is 2 Oscars for this film.
Yeah.
Which,
We listened to briefly before watching the film when we were talking about songs for the Oscars,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, "Oh, it definitely has to be in context."
Yeah, because me and Soph, we were a bit like,
Yeah.
not really doing anything. Seems a bit just like. See, I was actually gonna that made me kind of, because I was gonna take it and use it to take a shot at The Greatest Showman,
Go on.
which was just like the repeated songs in films, especially in musicals, is kind of like quite a classic thing, and it just kind of like the reason I think it was effective in this, because Remember Me's done quite a few times,
Yeah.
is that there was some variation with it in terms
Yes.
of musically who it was with, who was it portraying,
Also
like the emotion of it.
emotionally,
Yeah, definitely. And I did think that was like, that's kind of a really good example of, it's not kind of irritating to hear the same song. It's kind of adding to, it's almost making it more impressive, the whole kind of skill of that song, because there's so many different ranges you can play it in that musical style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as well, like, it's also that I think there's been a bit of a thing recently, like thinking of the Justin Timberlake song, the Can't Catch a Feeling or whatever it is, and then Happy by Pharrell and stuff, with just animation films will get a kind of upbeat pop song or will make an upbeat pop song, and it doesn't really have to tie into the film or just
Sorry,
attach
did
it.
you say upbeat cock song?
Did I say upbeat pop song?
I tried.
All right, great.
No, it's fine. But I get exactly what you mean.
They do
Like,
kind of do that though. Sorry, like they take
No, they do,
Remember Me
yeah.
for the end credits. They turn it more poppy.
Yeah, but I mean the
But-
fact that the songs integrate into
Oh,
the
yeah.
film and a massive part of the film. It's not just a pop song that's known to like hit the pop records.
Yeah.
Whatever.
whatever. But yeah, no.
Hot dig. Go on.
That's not a dig.
That's
That's
not a dig.
yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, I completely lost where I was going. As soon as you said dig, it went straight out. my
Sorry.
head. But yeah, no. I'm trying to think what else we can kind of talk about it more, because like I thought the whole topic of it was interesting enough. Like, it really captured my attention from the start. There's not much I want to say about the characters or the like voice performances, really, because I feel like they also played the part to play the other parts of the characters, so it's not like something we can kind of touch upon. Though I thought the kid was really good.
Yep, kid was
And
good.
Yeah, we were saying we saw that video.
Yeah, you guys have seen a clip of him behind the scenes actually doing
Oh,
his
he's
lines.
so adorable.
He is
Yeah.
adorable, little chubby git, as I said.
Also, Benjamin, I didn't know who was
Benjamin
actually in it.
Bratt.
Benjamin Bratt was in this film, which if you don't, do you know who the name is? Do you remember Miss Congeniality?
Yes.
Do you remember the one who got with Miss Congeniality?
The You Want a Day.
Yeah. He
that-
plays Ernesto de la Cruz.
No, does
Yeah.
he?
Yes,
Bloody
he does.
hell.
I'm always a fan of his work. He's great. So what did you guys think of the just kind of moving into the film a little bit more, the way it was actually presented itself, the graphics, like the actual, because we talked about it a little bit, saying that it was beautiful, but was there anything that kind of particularly stood out? Because I have one negative point.
And it's burning you up, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Do you want to?
no, sorry, you go ahead first.
The main thing, other than saying about the bump up and stuff, the way that it's animated when he's listening to De La Cruz playing, in the basement, wherever he is, and he's playing along and he's really feeling the music, and you can really tell the way they've animated it, how much he's feeling into the music. That and the amount of colour in the dead world
Yeah.
is just so beautiful. The way it's all presented with the houses upon houses is just stunning. I know your negative part, so I'm not going to step on that. So, Dill, anything?
No, yeah, I don't really have any negative to say. I just think the variety in which they kind of showed that that kind of culture in that world, like they showed it in so many different ways, and kind of it's such a like plunge into it that I just thought like that was kind of really impressive. Like I can't think of another just like pop culture kind of film that's gave you that much of a feel for the way a whole different culture is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's why I like these films more, especially that they're starting to go more into different cultures and stuff,
Well,
and
they
just
did,
kind
like,
of
the
showing
Moana,
new things.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Love that
stuff
scene,
like
yeah.
that. It's just kind of showing you more things about the world.
And
which,
what's universal throughout the
Yeah.
different kind of.
Yeah, and I thought there was something to really take away from this. Right, however,
Here he
the
goes.
one bad thing, and it's not even that bad, really, it's just something that really niggled me, because everything else was so perfect in the way that it looked, which is why I'm bringing it up to do with the graphics.
All right.
The spirit animal.
Mm-hmm.
The panther flying thing, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
the graphics on that, it looked like it was unrendered
Yeah.
to me. It looked like it was completely out of place, and it took me out of the film. And I was just like, what the is this? Like, to be fair, I like the colour scheme. I like the way that it was, the way that it actually looked in terms of, because it's supposed to emulate some of the, I can't remember what they were called, but it's actually to do with the culture themselves, because they have toys or like certain dolls and stuff. This is like the actual holiday where they paint them like these colours, so it's like a nice kind of thing to bring with that. But at the same time, I just could not get over the fact of the way that this thing looked, and it was just one negative for me.
Well, there is that, we were watching briefly CinemaSins, Everything Wrong with Coco, and considering they're supposed to be so, like, majestic and, like, what's it called?
I don't know.
It's gone. They're looked up to so much and admired, but in one of the parties for De La Cruz, the porcupine creation is being used for like sausages, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like the actual spirit animals themselves supposed to be like this whole spirit guide.
That came off as just a joke to me, like they just wanted to throw the joke in.
Oh yeah, I get that. It just sort of throws it off a bit because people are supposed to look at them as such a spiritual thing, and then it's just sort of being used as. I mean, it did make me laugh at the time, but
yeah.
About the one you're talking about, especially that big one. See, I know what you're saying with it being kind of almost like lower grade within it, but for me, I don't know, it gave me a feeling like, it was almost like an illustration taken out of a children's book, or like it was meant to be like that to a certain degree, because obviously you're not it's going to be a facet of somebody's imagination even within that world if it's a spirit animal. So within that there's going to kind of be more scope for, she might have seen, it might have been a book she read as a kid and she thought that animal when she was 4 was really cool, and that's what she manifested as her spirit animal. So this is probably me like subconsciously going really deep into it, but I think I kind of rationalized it that way, in that like it's a version of the people themselves, whatever they've got in their head, and it's not always going to be kind of like, flawless like movement and detail and stuff, because it's just whatever's representing them in their own kind of view.
It's a beautiful way to look at it. I still can't buy it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that seems more likely to me than they just blew it with the spirit animals. Like, how would that be possible? That it got to the stage of being a finished Disney Pixar film, and then they just didn't get that down. I'd more believe my explanation. That's what I'm coming out of.
That's what I have to believe, in the fact that it was a specific choice made by the filmmakers.
That's
themselves.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So I'll leave that,
because I feel like they've been doing quite a lot of animating over the last few years, and I think they know what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't want to jump out here and say anything controversial, but I think they're on it.
Anyway, so moving on. There was one thing actually I wanted to bring up. We just talked about it before. Coco won 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
Do you think it should have been nominated for Best Film, not just Best Animated Film, but Best Picture? Because I feel like it should. I feel like it's better than most of the films we've seen. I didn't hear it get
much of a call for it, to be honest. To be fair, though, it is, in its like story and kind of creation, it's pretty straightforward. Like it's not too imaginative, or like it's original in what it looks like and what it's representing, but as a film itself, it's not really kind of reinventing any wheels, or like, I know it doesn't have to, but it doesn't kind of like separate itself out for me as a film. It kind of does visually and in a subject matter and emotionally, but I don't know, it's hard to say, but I can see why it didn't, and why it didn't really get much hype to get so.
Yeah, I think they usually don't, just because they kind of overlooked a little bit. But
animated films,
I feel like if anything should have got at least a nomination compared to some of the other films we've seen that did.
Yeah.
Then it'll be interesting to see, because I'd like to see something kind of crop up over the next couple of years that does that finally kind of get that nomination.
Did Toy Story 3?
I can't remember that it did. I mean, I'd like to have a quick look now, actually, if that's all right with everyone.
Beauty and the Beast was nominated in '92. Up and Toy Story were nominated when there was 10 Best Pictures those years. So 10 is a lot of films. Beauty and the Beast got in when there was 5. So that's what I'm seeing. I've just read an article about Coco being snubbed, and that's what came up.
So what were they again? Sorry, just go through.
So Beauty and the Beast in '92 got a nomination when there were 5 films, and Up and so here we go. 3 animated films have been nominated for Best Picture: Beauty and the Beast, Up, and Toy Story 3. Up and Toy Story 3 though was when there was 10 films nominated, 5 when there was Beauty and the Beast, and now there's like 7 or whatever.
That's a lot. Wow. Okay, so at least they're kind of getting some of the recognition they deserve.
I don't think Up would have done if it hadn't been for 10. Toy Story 3 probably would have done, but I don't remember that at all.
Okay, so we've talked about the film a little bit, but any specific positives and negatives from you guys? Like, I know we've kind of talked about it, but I genuinely love this film. I thought it's one of the best films we've seen so far in the way that we've been reviewing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd definitely go and see it again, which I am. Actually, I'm going to go and take my mum.
Nice. No, yeah, I pretty much echo that. Really liked it. I really like the whole...
Why you going with my mum too?
Yeah. No, well, not that you know of. But, right, too easy. All right. I like the fact that I like the going to a different world and culture, and I like the kind of the effort that went into the research and to really enveloping you as an audience in that kind of upbeat like that kind of weird energy it has, that it's all about death, but it's also kind of very much about living and family and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think that kind of like clearly this holiday had a real message or like somebody took a real message from it, and the fact that that's kind of they're trying to spread that is cool.
Yeah, I like the message that it was trying to say, that family's important, more important possibly than anything else. But the only thing that took me out a little bit when I was kind of thinking about it afterwards was a Mexican family not being into music, like.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a culture that's kind of very music orientated anyway. Just the fact that someone wouldn't, within those generations and stuff, just feels a bit like, because everyone's into music, really.
I suppose that I think it's sort of, they have that much respect for their family that they take on their beliefs in it. And
like it's a tradition to not like music, and you break a tradition if you do.
Yeah.
So that's why and plus it's also the fact that she's still alive. So it's easier to drop things when people are dead. But when they're still sat there, you kind of have to respect their beliefs a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, Mama Coco. So?
Yeah, I don't have any dislikes except the fact that I ugly cried partway through. It weren't even at the remember
You're very
me
quiet,
part.
to be fair, because I never... maybe I'm just properly into the film, but I think I'd noticed somebody sobbing next to me, but no.
Yeah, you said that it's when you take that deep breath to try and hold it. I'm pretty sure I did it
slightly
a couple of times.
hacking breath. Yeah, I probably had to do that.
Because you kept on looking at me when I was
I know that
when
obviously you get more emotional at films than I do. So the fact that I was nearly kind of on the verge of tears at some point, I knew that you would be already bawling. So I looked over at you, and
I was
you
just
were already
frowning
bawling.
at you, crying I don't like this.
Yeah.
But it made me think quite a lot about memories and about death, and not in the death that I usually think about, where I just depress myself for a week. But it was a really nice thing to learn about if you didn't know about it previously.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd like to believe in that kind of world.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely. I'd probably start
put some
a bit
pictures
more.
on the sofa. Say it.
A frienda.
Hey.
It's called the frienda. You know where the...
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I was telling Dill that I was spending a good hour at work trying to say it in my head so I didn't mess it up.
Okay. I thought we were going to make a joke of what pictures would we put on?
No, I'm glad we didn't.
I'm glad we did too.
Okay, so shall we go into
Easter eggs?
the Easter eggs? Shall we go into the Easter eggs?
Let's go into the Easter eggs.
You'd forget.
Hey.
Right, okay.
I'll just
Easter
do
eggs.
some very quick.
That's very
items.
apt, because it's just been Easter. Merry Easter, everyone.
Merry
Thank
Easter.
you.
Yay.
So at the beginning, we see him dressed as a wrestler, where he dresses up Mama Coco, and he's showing her how he runs and stuff. That is a reference to Lightning from Cars 3. A Nemo figure is found on the side of the ofrenda amongst the photos in between the orange petals, so it's really hard to notice. There is a competition in the undead world where it shows different people doing different acts.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling you about it. And there was one that stuck out in particular because people laughed, and he was sort of playing different instruments on the stage, and he had the same T-shirt as Sid from Toy Story, which was also a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point,
in this film.
At one point, Miguel is running away from someone and runs past an undead poster of upcoming Incredibles 2 in the street, which is really cool that they put that on there. A113 is on the office door where he's trying to get his family's blessing.
You found that yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was buzzing off that.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Pinata's being sold in the street. Buzz, Woody, Sully and Mike in
Yeah.
the undead world. And finally, the end credits. I don't know whether we stuck around for it. It shows photos of everyone who's related to the creators that have passed away. So it's like their own ofrenda on the screen right at the end.
I don't think we saw that.
Yeah, no.
It includes Steve Jobs. It's people who've inspired you as well. It includes Steve Jobs, who had investments in Pixar,
So
Well, you made Pixar.
and the voice of Mr. Potato Head, as well as family members and stuff.
yeah.
So it's all filled up with photos right at the end,
Oh,
which
wow.
was such a nice,
Yeah, like
to
the
show
Pixar
that,
family.
that they still remember those people. So I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, because that's a touch they don't have to add in, but they do.
Yeah.
That's why they go the extra mile.
Yeah, that's how you can tell they were really tied to them. Because the thing with animation as well is that, like, do you know, if you're making a physical film, you know, there might be like people can not be as invested, but if you're in an animated film, the amount of work and detail and obsession that you have to go into it, I think like you have to have an extra level of being personally like really tied into the project doing well. Whereas you can just like work as a cameraman on a million different films as a union guy and not really have that much attachment.
Yeah.
If you're working on an animated film, I think there's like another level to it, which I don't know whether that's true in practice, but that's kind of like how I think about it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
That's why I think the emotional level, even with it being animated, can be kind of, you can get it a lot higher in an animated film.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think at some point, the way that it's going, because I feel like Pixar keeps beating the bar every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'm just doing a hand gesture right here to show that it's beating
Weird.
the bar.
Yeah, it's a uncomfortable gesture.
Speaking of beating the bar,
All right, you can.
shall this film go through the 5-star movie review?
I'm fine with that because it's the only segue we've had this episode, and I thought there'd be like 20.
Oh no, just wait for the next one, trust me. Shall I do it in my movie voice?
Do it in whatever
This
voice.
is the 5-star movie review. Yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'll
I'll
just
take
say
that.
5-star movie review. There we go. All right, that's me. That's me. All right, okay. So this is the 5-star movie review where we put films through the ultimate test. There are 5 questions, soon to be 10.
Ooh,
Maybe at some
tease.
point, but we're still doing 5 for now. I'm sorry. For every question we vote yes, that film gets 1 star. The ultimate goal, 5 stars. That's right. There are 3 of us, so the majority vote wins. They'll have stars for or up for contention when necessary. And small disclaimer: the ratings we give don't always match our enjoyment or experience of the film. This is just a rating system. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo! All right. Okay. So question number 1.
Oh, God.
Does the story make sense?
Yes.
Yep, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Kid goes into Land of the Dead trying to find his
Great grandfather.
great-grandfather to get the blessing to go back home. We didn't even touch upon that, but the reason why... Well, people watch the film. They know what happened. It's fine.
That's kind of secondary.
You guys know it made sense. There we go. All right. Question number 2. Yeah? Did the film have a good ending?
You said it was a good voice, so he's going to do this now.
Did I say it was a good voice?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing it
I'm
anyway.
very polite.
It's happening. Right. Did the film have a good ending?
I thought so, yeah. It's probably, I saw a review saying the same as well. It's probably one of the best endings to a film I've seen in a long time. That it kind of, it took all your emotional stuff and tied it up in a nice little bow while you sobbed. And then, like, just quite quietly, like, faded out on the music. But, like, yeah, I think it did a really good job of not, like, dropping the standard at the ending.
Just like that dropping of the bell, am I right? Boom!
Yep.
Bong.
Question number 3.
That's fine. I didn't say yes, but it's alright.
I thought you'd agreed with everything.
Go on.
You say yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2 stars. Were they believable characters?
We've kind of been over this, I guess.
Yeah, and it's as believable as it can be in an animated
Yeah, they
film.
kind of fill their
Yeah.
role. They don't, like, it's not really noticeable that they are, like, stereotypes or, like, just kind of feel, you know, they do but their part and that's it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe them in the world that they were in anyway. So,
Yeah.
3 stars.
Mhm.
That's good. Woo! Okay. Question number 4.
Okay. Okay.
It's getting more uncomfortable.
Did the film achieve diegetic absorption?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
100%. Yeah.
Just because you didn't want to look away from the screen in case you missed, like, it was just so visually arresting. Like, it was so great to watch. I didn't really want to look away in case there was just some incredible background that I was going to miss out on. Or
Yeah.
The only time I looked away was when I was looking up to try and not cry at the start until I just accepted that I was going to be a mess. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's even down to like, like the slums kind of area. Even that just mapped out in itself, I thought looked fantastic. Like, the party, just like the squares and stuff, including the back alleys.
You know what didn't make sense, actually?
what?
Thinking back on it. When they crossed over to spend that time with the family,
Yeah.
there was a guy that had like a basket full of like bread rolls, and then the
They
dead
reached in.
and got like a ghost version of it, and I was like, wait, that doesn't happen. Well, obviously it don't happen, but that doesn't make sense. Like, how can you just replicate that and that's now in your world?
I suppose it's
Because they're in, yeah.
it's like a gift from this side to the other side. So I guess not the physics of it, but I guess the rules of that world would be that you kind of give these gifts and they kind of take them in their own form.
Because that's why the feast was so big. That's why Ernesto had the feast, because they have all that food and they get the actual food,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
needed to get through it all.
But it's weird that they offer them food when obviously they wouldn't be.
Yeah, but that's the tradition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Okay,
it's
fair
more
enough.
like...
I mean, they're not going to get fat from it, so
yeah.
So 4 stars.
4 stars, yes, so far. And question number 5.
All right.
I just made complete
We're not doing that next time.
complete
you
eye
held
contact
that.
with the...
I was in there.
I don't know if that was uncomfortable or not, but did the movie change you as a person or change any sort? Just change you. Did you find that the movie changed you?
It didn't change me, but I would like to say I'm more open to looking at that sort of belief and legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make you think about like memories and stuff, but I don't know whether that'd be like, that doesn't change me as a person.
I'd like to petition for a 1/2 star, mainly because I feel like it deserves it, because it's got like a good message to it that you can kind of follow within your own life. In that, you kind of got to put your family in front of yourself as well, and kind of also be about the collective rather than just the individual. But at the same time, I also don't kind of believe that.
I mean, like, you can take it beyond family as well and just be like, be as good as you can on Earth, so people who you knew want to remember you.
Yeah.
And then, that's the way to have your legacy, is just by acting and being a good person, rather than because even Ernesto is a bit of a kind of, what do you call it, when they show like a negative, it's like a kind of teaching point in that, you seek fame too wholeheartedly, you end up losing kind of, you go on kind of moral line, and when you start to put yourself first to that degree.
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
Your eyes went up like a bloody animated
Yeah, I
film.
know, because
then.
I could feel it like coming. Yeah, just like when it gets to that, you put yourself kind of first to that degree, it doesn't lead to you doing anything good to a certain kind of within limits. So just there was a lot of little kind of messages in there. I thought, even like respecting your elders and learning from and remembering that they had a life themselves and trying to learn from them.
Yeah.
Something we all kind of do forget to do. I think sometimes it's like, you remember your parents and your grandparents lived before you, and try and actually be curious about them rather than just see them as your whoever they are.
Yeah.
So do you want to
So is that
petition
the
a 1/2
half
star
star?
for that? Is that you just want
That's
to give
me.
it a
I
half
guess I
star
just
for
did.
that?
Yeah, I guess I did just petition.
Yeah.
The woman behind me definitely would have petitioned. She was crying her
my
eyes
God,
out. She was not ashamed of it either. It was kind of funny.
I
She
like
was like
that, though.
heaving. Like I could
Yeah.
feel the chair shaking. She took it hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we'll move away from that. So,
We'll move away from it.
4.5 stars.
I think we're all happy with that.
Yeah,
I'm happy
I
with
like that. I think that's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, does anybody else want to say anything else about the film, or I think leave it there? Or?
Yeah, we've gone
Yeah.
on for a while, haven't we?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
happy enough.
It's all right.
Thank you very much for listening. If you like this, then please check out previous episodes of Tripod Talk. They will be somewhere behind this video, or if you're listening to this audio, they'll be somewhere. And please subscribe to whatever platform you are listening to us on to keep up to date with stuff. I've been Matt Lidster. I've been your host. I've been joined by Sophie Ellis and Mr. Dylan Moore.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, okay.
Night.
I guess we're going now. Bye-bye.
Bye.